Hey guys, nice to meet you both. My name's Joel, and so it's Mark and Julie. That's your names, is that correct?
That's
Yeah.
right, Joel.
Yeah, that's
Good to
right.
see you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank
coming. Thanks for your time.
No, my pleasure. And so, how'd you find it out about my services? What was the thing that brought you here?
Well, we went to a friend's wedding a month or two back, and we really liked what you did with them, and we thought, oh well, we'll see if you could do ours as well.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, hopefully, yeah, that my services, and I guess if you've seen me before, you know my kind of style as a celebrant. So hopefully this will be a great partnership. But yeah, congratulations on getting married. Tell me, or well, getting engaged firstly. Tell me a little bit about that. What happened and who did what? Was Mark the main man and the ideas? Is he a romantic? How'd that all happen?
You go first.
It's not really a romantic. We've been together on and off for a long time, and I think eventually.
After I asked you about 4 times.
Yeah, you did ask me a few times. The time wasn't right, so eventually you sat with me, and we went and bought a ring, and you asked me to. But finally, we could get married.
Yeah. I went and saw your parents.
Oh, yeah, you
your
did.
father in particular.
Yeah.
Could I marry you? And I did all the traditional things. So,
That's true.
And he was very happy about that.
Yeah, we are a little bit older, so we're a little bit traditional, but we still like to do things the right way.
Yeah, that's great. What are your thoughts then in terms of this big wedding day? Yeah, you just said you're a bit older and you've been waiting for this time. Have you got thoughts around what you might want in your ceremony? And like, have you been? Yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, we've got a venue just down the coast, so we've got that all organised. It's sort of a winery type of outdoors. It's the wedding will be outdoors. We've got some contingency plans. If it's raining and stuff, we can go inside a building that's there. But so we've got the venue organised, and that's all sort of tucked away and stuff. And
what's that venue called? Sorry.
Centennial Vineyards down
Barrel Way. Yeah, I think
that's right.
Yep.
So it's not too far for you there, and not too far for us either. So so that's all organised. A lovely setting. We've been to a previous wedding there as well, and know the area.
Yep.
And very nice place. So so it's outdoors.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have about I think we've invited about 120, 130 people.
Yeah.
And we want some of the family members to take part in it as well. So I don't know if you can fit that in, but we, just like to.
We'll include as many. Yeah.
Include as many as we can. We got a couple of family members that could, and we're into, we're happy to read the Bible and pray. We're happy about all that sort of stuff. To be in the ceremony, if that's possible. You did that last time, and I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah, we're people of faith, like we're Christians, so we really want the Christian part to a ceremony, so that's important to us.
Yeah, that's good. I guess you would know from looking me up online that I'm a civil celebrant, so I guess it's figuring out who might be somewhere in your family, or there might be a friend if there's a Bible reading or a prayer. For them to do those particular parts. If they faith themselves, that might be a really nice way to incorporate them in that, because that's probably not my expertise in this place as civil celebrant. But that sounds fantastic, and the fact you've locked in a venue already, I think that's one of the big ticket items in planning a wedding. So well done there. And so there is a contingency plan, like if it does rain or there's horrible weather, there's an option at that site or somewhere else.
Yeah, because the reception's inside, so there is space
on the same property.
On the same, just at the other end of where we will be holding the reception. So there's room to have to all be inside if we need to.
Okay, that's awesome. So tell me, just in terms of your these are just details for the main bits of information. What are your full names? So Mark, we might start with you.
Okay, it's Mark.
Yep.
Thomas. Yep. Stuart. Campbell.
Perfect. And that's CAMPBLL?
BLL.
Yep.
That's right.
It's good. And Julie?
Julie Ann Woodbury. So that's got Wood at the beginning, an E on the end of Ann, and then WOODBURY.
You are just the one at one. Okay, fantastic. And of course, both over 18. And have either of you been married before?
No.
No.
No. Okay, first marriage, fantastic. No previous marriage. And are you both born in Australia or from overseas? What's
Yeah,
your
both Aussies.
Both Aussies.
And moving forward, what's the best contact details? Is it Mark or yourself, Julie, in terms of what's the best
I
option?
know Mark probably. Yeah.
Yeah, if you put down you want our email address is the easiest one to go there, and then I'll give you the mobile number as well.
Yep, just give me a random one. That'll be great.
Okay, yeah, Julie A, all lowercase, Julie A Mark TS
Yep.
at gmail.com.
Email no.au, just .com.
No, just .com.
Fantastic. And your mobile, a random one?
Yeah, 0422 765 198.
198. Fantastic. We've already talked about how you're here. So around, was it 120 people you said?
Yeah.
Thereabouts, family members, and we're trying to look for how they can play a part, and the fact that you want your faith involved in that, which is fantastic. We can make that work. So just before we keep going, in terms of just the fee structure, so you're well aware of what is involved with my costs. So it's $60 per hour of my time. Today's free, and that first consultation after this, where we meet face to face, is free as well. But basically, to run the whole kind of ceremony, the planning, both pre and post work, it's about 10 hours work all up. So for my services, it's $600. And so if you choose for me to be your celebrant, when we meet next time, I ask for just a $200 non-refundable deposit. Just pay it that way. And then there are things as we go. And when you think about, well, what on earth does this look like? Why is it that fee? You've got to think about the documents that we have to lodge, and I'll talk about those a little later. The actual travel and the coming in there and the time it will spend at the ceremony itself. We think about the interviews, such as my time right now, and then even thinking about, would you want a wedding rehearsal? So every type of different thing does play its part in terms of my time, and so it's respecting that on both your part and mine as well. But how's that seem in terms of the fee structure? Is that what you kind of thought it would be? Yeah.
About that.
Yeah,
So
we expected something like that. So
if
that's
we have a rehearsal, does that mean that's on top of that? So
Yeah, so that would be, and I do strongly recommend a rehearsal. Like often with a rehearsal, it just allows you both, like I do this all the time, but this will be hopefully your first and very only wedding. So therefore, it just allows you to walk through the steps of this is what's going to happen. There's a lot of emotion on the day, so you just want to calm the nerves as much as possible. We go through a bit of the vows. You can practice parts you want. We even stand in the space, so we know where do you want your groomsmen and your bridesmaids to stand.
that's good.
It's basically nutting out those finer details, and you physically standing in the place. There's nothing like it as well, and so that I think it is a really helpful thing. I've had weddings where we haven't had a rehearsal, and not all the members knew what was happening, so that's not ideal. And the best ones have always been when we've rehearsed it. And I think for you both, it will just be the best way forward as well. So it's your choice, but highly
I think that's a good way forward.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah.
Do you know, in regards to the venue, like, do they have PA systems, or is this something we might need to look at ourselves?
I don't know.
We might need to check that out. I think they do. I think the last one we went to, I think they had everything pretty well organised in there and available. So we'll double check that if you like and get back to you.
Yeah, if you can look into that. But I also have my resources to be able to bring the system. Because were you thinking, is there music or a live performance or anything like that, or are you just playing tracks from?
I think we'd be playing tracks coming in and out.
Yeah, I think that's easy.
That was the easy one. We don't have a lot of friends that do live music. Certainly with the reception and stuff, we've got some people, but no.
I think that'd be good.
Okay. Well, that's fine then. If you just check with your venue, but if not, I can arrange a microphone for us as we speak. And one of the biggest things as we go through the ceremony, it's providing you the mic more than me. So everyone gets to, they're there for you rather than me. And so we're trying to make it more about that. So when we go into certain aspects where it's a call and response, I say something, you say it. the people in the audience will hear you more than me in most
Good.
cases.
That's
Yep.
good.
Good.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me know. And in terms of music, as we get closer and have those conversations, you just have to tell me what you want, and I can look up them and prepare it. And it's the conversation whether you have a friend or a family member look after that, or it's something we do ourselves. It just depends how difficult, or, what you want is in terms of that pre and post.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so far, everything you want to keep chatting. We seem like we're on the same page.
Good.
No, sound good.
Mm.
Right? No, you sound like you know what you're talking about.
So what are you talked about a few things, your family getting involved with your ceremony. Are there key things, like, have you been to other weddings before? Are there key things you want in your day that is different to the norm, or are there elements where you think, yep, we definitely have to have that, and others you want to, well, you don't want even?
Oh no, I think, you know, if we can have, if we choose a Bible reading that means something to us, and we get someone to pray, I think that's important. We'll get two different family members to do that. But I think it's better. Don't you prefer to repeat? I've seen people say their own vows. It's a bit nerve-wracking on the day. So if we could, you know, if you could show us some vows that we could say, you know, and we can have a look at and see if we feel okay about it. But I think I prefer to repeat. Would you?
It's easier for us. I think they're doing it that way, leading us through, and we repeat the words. And normally have a little bit of a talk. You know, we want someone to sort of endorse our marriage and that as well.
Words of advice.
Words of advice. Yeah.
As
Something
in
like that.
from the celebrant or a family member or something. What are your thoughts there?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, obviously, we'd be getting people to endorse our Christian wedding.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a position to do that yourself or whether we get somebody else to do that, that's fine. But it'd be nice for someone just to endorse what marriage is actually about for us in God's sight, and what the blessing of marriage is actually all about for us.
So maybe if you didn't feel comfortable, we could get the family member that reads the Bible could say something, you know, just a few words about after the Bible reading or something.
Oh, there's definitely, I can give the overall view of what marriage is all about, and definitely link it to faith. I think somebody who is a Christian in terms of what they're saying, your family member, that might be your best way to go as well, for them to provide that experience. I think that might be a great idea. And so in terms of, do you have a date or is there anything, sorry, before we get into the dates, anything else you're thinking in terms of what's involved?
Oh, only just that we haven't got to the music yet. So the music coming in, and the music while we, I know we'd signed the register and, some paperwork, legal stuff you got to do. I've seen that, and a bit of music to play there as well. We haven't really chosen that, but we need to get that. Well, we need to get to that to you.
And you're thinking with your vows, you talked about that just before, is it you want to go with the traditional, or do you want me to provide you with a few different options to see some alternate versions that you might be able to use? And we can do the call and response both ways, but it's just the word choice.
It'd be nice to have a look at a couple of options, I think. I mean, we like that traditional sort of wording.
Yeah.
But if there's some other options that are available, wouldn't mind looking at that.
Yep.
Definitely, you're not wanting to write your own.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, I don't think so.
It's
not that stage.
No.
So you said you've locked in your venue. What's the date for that? What's your?
It's the first Saturday in December. Whatever. I can't think of.
Yeah, let's
December.
It is.
About the 4th of December.
November. 3rd of December.
3rd
of December.
Yeah,
that works really well, because what one part of this is, I was just checking, but 1 month prior to your actual wedding date, you've got to sign your notice of intention to be married. And so that's something we can, at the end of this meeting, schedule a time, and I can send you those documents to have that completed. But December gives us plenty of time to make sure that paperwork's in as we go. So that's really good. And that date is also available in my calendar, so that works out really well. So as we go, and we'll do this more in depth when we meet face to face, but I just want to check through a few things. So I have a booking form, and I'll send this to you after this meeting, so you can look through and just think about things like the music. There's things like the tech there's things you need to consider about the layout of the space. Like, does the venue provide flowers and everything, or do you have to get them in? Do you know that, if that's what the venue supplies versus what you have to supply?
Oh yeah, we've talked to them about it. With we have to provide the flowers. They'll set up the chairs and everything and things like that, and then a little table. But yeah,
not everyone will be sitting, so it'll only be a certain number sitting. The rest will be standing.
Okay, so you have select chairs for the front, maybe your immediate family, and doing it that way. And I think the biggest thing is making sure that those people that you want to sit know that that's available, so that you don't have people standing around the back, everyone seated, and then stand after that. But that naturally normally happens. And on the day, I can be somebody who can encourage certain members, or what tends to work really well, if you get a member of your family from each side to be the person who knows the grandparents and knows the main people, and encourage them to take a seat.
That's good.
And so there's things like the signing table for the signing of the register, if the venue supplies that, or that's something we need to consider ourselves. And there's even, we talked a little about the segments, so it sounds like a reading and a prayer would be really helpful. But say traditional things like, do you want to be, when you get to the end, and this is for you, Julie, do you want to be handed off, given away by your parents? So that's a traditional thing that tends to happen. Some people want it, some people don't. There's no right or wrong, but
I think it's nice, if Dad's going to walk me down the aisle, it'd be nice if, if, not that he'd be giving me away, but sometimes generally
hand you over.
I've heard other people say, "You hand me over." I've heard other people say, well, who, because I think the traditional one is who gives away this person, but who's, are you happy? There's some wording, isn't there? Some little wording for that.
Yeah, there's definitely the fact that, yes, in today's modern, it's not about the dad or the parents having power. It's about we accept the fact that now Mark is now going to be a part of your life more than us. It's that transition. And I think, there's a beautiful way. And so I'll look at some wording about that out of that non-traditional kind of form. But that
they
sounds
probably
good.
won't want to say anything. They won't. But even if it's, maybe they don't say something. Maybe they just come up and shake Mark's hand or something, and I can step. We don't have to say anything.
I've seen
that
it
happen before.
The groom comes up and it's just this congratulations, hug and kiss, and that is the, I don't know, agreement's the wrong word, but that's the process, rather than saying legalistic type of wording.
I think that might be nicer.
And there's other elements you have to consider, like you can do other parts where it is trying to bring the two families together. There's segments where it might be the use of sand, where each family member is pouring sand into a vessel, or it might be the use of candles. So there's a few things out there that maybe go away, research yourself, and think about the weddings you've looked at to see if you want one of
I've seen things like candles. We'd have to be careful outside, so maybe we'll need candles in a container or something. But I've seen where the different families come and light a candle, and then we take those candles and light our own. So whether we can get, long tapers or something to take the flame and then light one in the middle. So I've seen that done before. That's always nice.
That's okay. So the candles might be
if providing, depends on how windy it is.
Well, there are ways, like you said, that if it's a tall jar and the candle's quite low, it's just about how to light it and the ways. But even it's lots of people at the moment are using sparklers as a transfer, so they don't actually blow out in the wind. So that might,
that's a
I
good
don't
idea.
know how that works, but potentially we could use things like that to overcome that.
That's
so
good.
There's other things, and again, we can talk about this more as we come, but it's thinking about who are the key contacts of the day. So of course Mark will be there a bit earlier, but is there somebody else I need to talk to, and management of the site and things. It's thinking there's the certificates that we sign, who actually wants to be responsible of them. It's basically every decision we make is trying to make sure that you don't have to think about much on the day. It's all been thought of, it's all been done, and it just makes your life a lot easier and gives somebody else the control of the stress. You're just there to enjoy your day, which is most important.
That's good.
So we talked about music in terms of, are you people that, do you want technology involved in your ceremony in terms of people taking photos, or would you rather just allow the photographer to do their to their work?
Oh, we won't be having a real formal photographer, so we've just got a friend to take photos, so we don't mind if people
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
take photos. We're
Yeah.
not worried.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah, I think it's just making sure, because some people, they want it unplugged and no tech, and others are fine with it. So that's really good to know.
As long as they don't get in our faces.
No,
all.
that's right. We were at a wedding once where somebody kept using their iPad to take photos, and they just seemed to be everywhere with
Not
their
helpful.
iPad. No,
Not
that
Yes.
wasn't good. Yeah.
People often don't understand their iPad's a little bigger than. So what I will do is, after this meeting, is just send you some of these ideas in terms of
Yeah,
looking
that's
at
good. Yeah,
those
okay.
vows. I'll send you through a few different options in terms of the ceremony structure itself.
Yeah.
But if you're happy to go ahead, I'll also write in the email a few options about meeting face to face. And this is where we can sit down, look at a few different ideas, and start to look at the nuts and bolts of everything there. This is just simply hearing about who you are and trying to see what might work well for you. But the things is, I talked about that notice of intention of marriage. I'll add that into the email as well.
Yeah.
But that's something you need to bring to our next meeting. I'll go over, like, fill in as much as you can, but if there's areas where you think, oh, I'm not sure what to do, leave it blank and we can sign that together.
Okay.
And then when we get on the actual wedding day, there's official certificates. So there's two different versions of that. There's actually a declaration of no legal issues in terms of getting married as well that we'll talk about. You get a certificate as well, and which is the official type, and then I hand all that in to the marriage register, and then you can apply for an official certificate after that as well. So I'll talk through those steps, because there's lots of different paperwork involved as well, but it's my job to carry that weight and talk you through how that all works. But yeah, I'm really excited for you both. Sounds like you've got a great idea of what your ceremony looks like, and yeah, I'm excited to craft it to make sure it's the best it can be for you guys as well. Do you any questions on your part?
Do you need any what do you call it, identification or something? When we fill in all those papers, do you need like birth certificates or passports or anything like that?
Basically, it's similar to any other legal documents. So if you have bring your passport or your driver's license or any form of legal ID, and I'll put this in the email as well to remind you, but I just need to cite that, and the fact you're both in Australia, there's no previous marriage, it's all fairly straightforward. I cite that to make sure you are legitimately who you are.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we go from there.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from your part, or?
Oh no, only that when you put those details through, you might have other questions.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
that's
about
right.
it at the moment. But
Think of
anyway,
that today.
when we meet up next time, and we'll let you know, going forward and stuff, we'll be able to answer those next round. I think we got a bit of time, so.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of time in December, and that's, I guess, my role in this as well. Yes, there's our interviews and this initial meeting and everything, but I'm always an email or phone call away, and there's no stupid question. This is the first time you're getting married, so therefore I'm the person who's done this a fair few times before. Therefore, I'm I can allow, and whatever you want. Nothing's a stupid or silly idea. We can just look at it and see what is realistic, what is possible. But I'm here to make sure your dream becomes a reality. That's what it's about.
Well, it sounds lovely.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Joel.
Well, nice to meet you both, and I'll send this email off with all those details that we talked about today, and look forward to creating this special day for you both.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Talk
Not a
again
problem.
soon. All right.
Yeah, talk soon. Have a great day. Well, one of the other components that I need to talk to you about is your preparedness for marriage, and the fact that there's a pamphlet that I've emailed you, so hopefully you've had time to read it, but we'll talk about that more when we see you. But it's happily ever before and after. And basically this is just saying the fact that marriage, it's a wonderful thing, but also takes a lot of effort and time. And it's just the fact that there's a lot of different marriage education resources that are out there for you just to prepare yourselves for marriage. But it's also about the fact that there's lots to learn as you lead up in terms of your wedding. But during your marriage, there's also assistance out there for you. And then even when times they're difficult, or at their worst, it might be the fact there could be a death in the family, there could be issues that are quite serious with you, whether it's financial or something changes dramatically, maybe you lose a job or something like that. And so there's counselling services, other forms of education that you can look into. And so it's just really allowing you to know the realities of what marriage is all about. And so from our perspective, this pamphlet, it talks through the fact that before, during, and then if there's a major breakdown, and it talks about before those steps of that notice of intention of marriage, that the fact that going through your evidence of ID, also looking at a declaration of no legal impediment to marriage. We've talked about the fact there's no dramas for you both. Then it talks about the wedding day and then what happens after as well. But one of the really good things about this document that you might have seen is it does talk about, well, once you get married, one, there's health and welfare kind of shift benefits that you can get in our country. The fact that, Julie, for you, or maybe both of you for now, is about changing your name. That can be quite a tedious process. This doesn't count for you because you're both citizens as well, but it just talks about the fact that if one of you is outside of born overseas, how that all works. But the other thing you might want to consider is the fact that making a will, you're now turning into a partnership legally. And so making a will might be something you want to look into. And then the other thing is, because you're now legally a couple after you get married, your tax does shift as well. Rather than being an independent person, you're now under that space. So in regards to all this, what I will say is the couples, and you just never know what's going to happen in a relationship, but it's about being prepared. And so I'll send you're based in the Sutherland Shire, so I'll send you a few different options that are available to you both. But also I do have one of my close friends that I always refer people to. He's really good. He's done heaps of different marriage counselling, and often there's this connotation that counselling is a negative thing, but it's about readiness. That's all it is. So he might take you through, you can do a questionnaire, and it comes back with your areas of strength and areas of growth. And basically you just get to have these conversations. It could be about kids, it could be about your family, it could be about your finances, but there's lots of different things involved with marriage. And so it's bringing up those conversations now. So you both know before we make this a legal binding agreement between you both, that you both have talked about all these issues that you may not have thought about before.
Sure.
Is there thoughts on your space? Is this something you might be considering?
So you're saying that it's a requirement before we get married, or is it
no? So it's just encouraged. You don't have to do it. It's purely the fact that I've given you that document today, and we just, as we do some of that paperwork I talked about next time, it'll be acknowledging you have read that and I've gone through each of those aspects. But it's purely up to you if you think this would be of benefit to you or not. That is up to you, but there are lots of great options out there, and the website I'll show you. It can from counselling, I know you talked about the fact that you guys are both Christians. There's a thing called Prepare and Enrich, which is about faith. So I could put you in touch with a person who does that locally. So there's a few different options there for you, but it's basically having those conversations prior to your wedding. For instance, like, have you talked about will you have kids or not? Is that something that's on the diet? So they're the type of things that you hopefully have already talked about. But and even you talked about the fact that you're later than traditionally when people do get married, so you're both coming with a lot of different life experience, both from your family, both from your living, and then even work and experience. So it's trying to make sure that you're both on the same page as much as possible.
It's important.
It does make a lot of sense, really, doesn't it? Because you know we're so used to doing things our own way. So when we start, you know, on this new journey together, it would be good to talk to someone, wouldn't it? That's a good idea.
It's good. Well, I'll send through those documents for you, so you can check out what is available to you, and we'll chat again when we meet in person to see what you think.
Rich looks sounds pretty good.
That sounds good. I've heard other people do that.
And the questionnaires and stuff that go with it. So
it's like when I did it when I got married. I thought it was a really helpful experience as well. So
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Be interesting to see how we measure up.
Yeah. Well, you sound pretty
Cool.
compatible already.
We might not
Most
measure
of the time, there's no curveballs, but it's just allowing you to make sure that you have talked about all the different aspects involved in marriage. But, yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
good. No, that's really
Awesome.
good. Yeah, that's
Well, I'll
very.
send that
you.
through to you with the other stuff in our email as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Thanks,
good.
Joel.
Thank you, Joel.
Appreciate
Not a
it.
problem.